After 2 nights of debates, we know just a bit more about some of the 20 Democratic candidates for president after they hit the stage for the first time. The second night had the biggest names and a lot more action, but both nights had moments that will have at least a small impact on the race. Overall, Wednesday's debate was mostly an introduction to America for most of the candidates. Only one candidate on stage, Elizabeth Warren, has high polling numbers. And the first big takeaway from night one is that she is a top dog and was treated as such by moderators and other candidates.
And we'll start this evening with Senator Elizabeth Warren.
We need to make structural change in our government, in our economy, and in our country.
She was smack dab in the middle of the stage, and many of the questions to the other candidates centered on her policy positions. And candidates, even the more moderate ones, kind of left her alone and didn't attack her, giving her free rein for most of the night. Former HUD Secretary Julian Castro and New Jersey Senator Cory Booker also shined. Castro was probably the most surprising. He's gotten almost no media coverage up to this point. He hit immigration hard repeatedly to great applause.
Watching that image of Oscar and his daughter Valeria is heartbreaking. It should also piss us all off.
Booker needed a big night, and he got it. He introduced himself with storytelling and proved he's a candidate not scared to talk about issues surrounding race. Another huge takeaway from the first night is what wasn't talked about a lot: President Trump, impeachment, and Joe Biden. With as much time as these candidates spent on Trump before the debate, there was barely a mention of him early on. There wasn't one question from the moderators on impeachment until late in the second hour. We didn't hear anything about frontrunner Joe Biden the entire debate, despite criticism the last couple of weeks from candidates on that stage on his stances and controversial comments.
Vice President Biden shouldn't need this lesson.
One of the biggest takeaways about the first debate is what wasn't talked about a lot: President Trump or Joe Biden. But the second night was chock full of both.
That Trump is a pathological liar and a racist.
Donald Trump thinks Wall Street built America. Ordinary middle-class Americans built America.
We need a nominee who has the ability to prosecute the case against 4 more years of Donald Trump, and I will do that.
This night was next level and proof that lineup matters. As much as the DNC said they tried not to create a big kids debate, that's exactly what Thursday night felt like. Senator Kamala Harris broke out with moment after moment after moment. She's been criticized in the past for being too cautious, but after Thursday, that criticism is probably out the window. Her biggest moment of the night came when she hit Biden on his comments on race and his opposition to school busing during desegregation.
You know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools, and she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
It was also a night that made it clear the huge differences in age in the current Democratic field. Biden and Senator Bernie Sanders next to 37-year-old Buttigieg and 54-year-old Harris, the gap becomes glaringly clear. Mayor Pete also had a good night, anchored on the issue of race. His answer on the officer-involved shooting in South Bend was risky but landed. Frontrunner Biden leaves Miami bruised a little bit. From being hit on race, his age, and having stale ideas, how he handles the next couple of weeks are going to be huge for him. But with how high his poll numbers are compared to the other candidates, he has some cushion for error here. With so many candidates running, there's only so much room for movement in those polls and fundraising. But watch out for Castro and Harris to make some moves on those fronts that last for more than a couple of days. The next debates aren't until July 30th and 31st, and just over a dozen candidates have all but cemented a spot on the stage. But if the debates proved one thing, it's that some of the candidates need to up their game.